Hey everyone, it's Yuji. Welcome back to part 2 of the tutorial. So we left off last time with our roof, and I'm going to isolate select it by pressing Ctrl 1 and insert some edge loops on the sides. Then I'm selecting the faces on the interior and extruding them in to create an edge going around the roof. And if you are confused about any of the shortcuts or you want to see how I arrived at this step, I recommend you watch part 1 of this tutorial, which will have a link in the description. Now I'm extruding these two smaller faces and I'm tapering in the tops with the scale tool. And I want to mimic the same design on the house, so I'm doing the exact same thing with these faces as well. From the Poly Modeling menu at the top of the screen, I'm going to select a plane so that it can serve as a base for my house. In the Attribute Editor, I'm reducing the amount of subdivisions down to 1 to eliminate any unnecessary edges and vertices. These faces on the bottom here can also be deleted since they're unnecessary polygons. By selecting the bottom edge, I'll bring it down to rest on the base. If you double-click on the first edge, all the edges which are adjacent to the first one will also get selected. This is a quick way of selecting multiple edges at once. Now I'm repeating the same process with the stairs by deleting the unwanted faces and grabbing the edges to rest on the base. Next, I'm creating the door by duplicating my window and bringing it down. I'm going to fix up the door a little by grabbing some faces, deleting them, and filling the hole that it creates. To fill a hole in your object, you should select all of the adjacent edges around your hole, then go up into the Mesh menu and select Fill Hole. Now I'm going to extrude the interior faces of my door to create a door and frame. I'm grabbing a sphere and sizing it down to create a doorknob. A flattened cylinder will serve as the base between my doorknob and the door. Now we're going to create the roof tiles. So I'm grabbing a cube and resizing it. In the Attribute Editor, I'll create 4 depth subdivisions. I'll grab the vertices at the sides and scale them in, and bring out the middle vertices to create the shape of a roof tile. I'm placing the first one into position on the roof and duplicating the subsequent ones, scaling or stretching them whenever necessary to fit the shape of the roof. By grouping a row of tiles, I can duplicate the whole row at a time to create a faster workflow. Once I've got all my roof tiles in place, I'm going to group all the tiles on the left side and duplicate them onto the right side. We're going to create the stair railings next, so I'm grabbing a cube, elongating it, and rotating it into place along my stairs. The bottom face can be deleted, and the edges brought down to the top of the base. Creating an edge loop close to the top, I'm selecting those faces and extruding them. Next, I'm tapering in the top edges. Now, I'm not really happy with the plane we have as our base, so I'm going to resize a cube instead to create a more realistic ground. Continuing with the railing, I'm extruding the face at the front and tapering in the edges to create a similar shape as the railing. Next, I'm duplicating my windows to have one on each wall. By this point, we are having quite a few different parts in this model, so remember to keep your outliner or hypergraph hierarchy nice and organized and labeled. We're going to add some more detail to the house, so I'm taking a cube and elongating it to create some wooden planks. And I'll do the same on the other sides. Finally, I'm adding some bricks at the side of the house to add a bit more interest to our scene. In part 3, we're going to complete our scene and start texturing the house. You will find that in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button to let me know you enjoyed it. See you guys in part 3.